All right, Madam Chair.
Yeah, just.
Okay.
I'm looking up some data.
But he's taking it back to actually 2019.
So while we were waiting,
Okay.
are you, so can I have my turn to speak?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, thank you. As we talk about getting houses in order, we can't gloss over important facts. And one of the important facts is that you need a staff in order to be successful, in order to thoroughly run this city. As council members, sitting in this full part-time job with full-time work, for those that actually take their job serious, this is a full-time job with no staff. And so I understand needing a full staff in the mayor's office. Now, just like my colleague in the 7th Ward said, and I'll be remiss to say what they need and what they don't need, but I also would be remiss not to point out this big fact that the mayor invited every single council person to his office. So if we felt like the time that he had here was not enough, he afforded us the opportunity, extended the opportunity to have a meeting. And so, did we take him up on that offer? Individuals that would like to cut the budget of the staff that's working there, did they go and have this conversation with them? Or is this some kind of political posturing here to show that they don't like the mayor and this is what we do when we don't like you? You know, just like we laugh when we vote down youth jobs, just like we laugh when we vote against autistic children and programs in the city.
Excuse me.
Right.
Please give. That's vulgarity, and I'm asking you to be removed from this meeting as your second warning.
They didn't say anything.
Please, not a threat of arrest. I didn't speak. I'm sitting here in silence.
That's vulgar.
Miss Judy Priestley is under threat of arrest that I'm getting evicted from my public meeting.
They pay more attention to that audience than they do us up here.
Sorry, my finger recramped. Bad shoulder, you know, work all the time. This is under threat of arrest. It's under threat of arrest? Yeah. Are you arresting me or gonna arrest me here, Mr. Metcalf? What's your badge number? For you.
Again, this is political theater. People come here for laugh, jokes, kicks, and giggles. And this is not what we're here for. People come here to take shots at the mayor. This is not what we're here for. When he gets it right, we agree with him. When he don't, then we take it to him and we fix it. But sitting here in these chambers, acting like we refuse to pass his budget unless you slice his office in shreds, I don't understand that. Now, when you are right, I'm with you. Unfortunately, I have colleagues that won't even answer a question, let alone agree when I propose something when it makes sense. But we want to sit up here, yeah, you know what? I'm not, and this is why people view us as being stagnant. We operate out of feelings and not facts. I will continue to operate out of fact. So bring it to us why we should cut the mayor's budget. And if it makes sense, I agree. But stop using your seat to politically try to assassinate somebody with no facts.
Some of those doors have to stay open.
Yep. No, they are not. Somebody's closing them, but not.
No, they are closing the doors. The doors have to remain open
There's-
because of the Open Meetings Act. They have to. The doors have to be open.
They just shut the door to the officer container. They will open back up as soon as they can. I'm not gonna let my partner go in the bathroom myself. The second officer right there.
Oh, yeah, they can always use these back here.
No, they cannot.
They cannot.
Excuse me, let me finish. If you guys can. It's not you. So I'm not even talking to those people because my conversation is with you. Thank you. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion in the, I guess that leaves me. Okay, so I'm going to take a few minutes. I'm not going to approve going back this far for rollback. Are there positions that could be eliminated in the mayor's office? Possibly. But we haven't identified those. It hasn't been discussed. Where I had discussed the positions that could be eliminated in the ombudsman's as well as the cost. So I am not going to vote to agree to this amendment. So this is the vote to the substitute amendment to go back to the fiscal year 21-22 budget for the mayor's office.
Dr. Lewis?
No.
Ms. Priestley?
No.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? No. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no. That motion fails. That amendment fails. Is there any other amendments? Are there any other amendments?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I'm going to make amendment to take the administrator's office down to fiscal year 22 actual. So I would like to make the personnel services from 384, 465 down to
What number are
225,500.
you quoting from?
I'm fiscal year 22. Correct.
I don't
I'm-
see that in the administration. The fiscal year
Administrator.
22. I see personnel services,
Yep,
225,000.
I'm taking fiscal year 26 proposed all the way down to that line item.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to move the city administrators line item from the proposed budget to the actual fiscal year 2022, which is personnel services, $225,500. Pension and OPEB, $85,876. Supplies and operating expenses, $18,510, for a total of $329,886. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved by the councilman in the 8th ward, by the way, and it's supported by the councilwoman in the 6th ward. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
to me, this seems like a no-brainer. We can easily go back a few years and deal with the budget that we lived on in that year. Just a simple 4 years ago, where we don't need to almost double, I'm going to say increase by 70% in a matter of 4 years. To me, the services haven't increased by 70%. So let's go back and if they want to propose how the services are going to increase by 70%, then we can have that discussion. But that's where I'm at. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Mashat.
so this is the second time that there have been some numbers proposed that I don't even have in front of me. And so just based off of, he's saying go back to a fiscal year, is that on here?
Yeah, it's in this.
It's in our packet?
It's in our packet.
Okay. Which page is it on?
On the printed, when you go into the budgets on page 1 of 3. I don't know.
Because I was assuming that I had that budget.
If you're looking at the PDF, I will get you that PDF.
It's
number.
page 103.
No, one of three. Let me go to my PDF just a second. And I will be glad to give you that number. On the PDF, it
Can
is
you-
page 51. If you have your PDF.
No, Judy, that's not there. What page on the agenda?
After the resolution, it's page 1 of 3, after the resolution. Sorry, I wasn't clear. I look at the,
So I'm gonna find it in a second, but until then, it's not in front of me. I have 3 minutes left. This is the same thing. So we keep making the argument that we can go back and put salaries and everything else back at what it was 3 years ago, is it? And so this is the thing. In the last 3 years, we have something called inflation that has happened. In the last 3 years, there has been something called the cost of living that has changed drastically. More importantly, once again, we're trying to make an amendment to an office without understanding the full weight of the decision. Who will be affected by it? How will they be affected by it? Not understanding the roles that they play in the office, not understanding the duties, not understanding that the fact that honestly, the city administrator's office is probably not where we should be trying to cut right now anyway, because is he not also acting as the DPW director? He has all of these extra duties, but we want to cut staff from somebody who has to take on not only making sure he's aiding the mayor and helping that all the other departments run correctly, but now he also has to man a whole department himself as well, be in charge of something as huge in the city of Flint as our water and making sure that that's good and the quality of that is safe. And so now it's, let's give this person more undue stress. Let's take away a staff. Let's remove positions that we don't understand, some that are doing work daily that we're not doing, that we're not there in real time. The issue with trying to make these cuts tonight, which again, they would make more sense if there would have been an email or something sent of, this is what we are going to propose to cut tonight. Come with the reason as to why you feel like you need this much staff or you need this much money going into your office. Instead, here we are again. Guess roulette is their favorite game, playing games with lives. I'm not comfortable with doing that. I'm not comfortable with doing that at all. If somehow in here we could get a full explanation, it is quite clear that we will be in another meeting tomorrow. Quite clear. And maybe tomorrow, Mr. Moore will have the numbers. He will have had an opportunity to talk to the mayor's department. He will have had an opportunity to talk to the city administrator's department. That way, some different numbers could be discussed. There could be some kind of conversation on how we make this budget make sense. And that, yes, I do agree, we do need to protect the residents, but be clear, chances are the people that work in these offices are also residents. So did we forget we need to protect them too? They come to work every day. They work hard. And so instead of just going through it rimshot and not actually taking the time to look at this and say, are these cuts viable? Can we actually do this? Again, this is something else that is going to get a no from me. We do not work in the city administrator's office daily. I don't feel comfortable with telling somebody you can go back to 3 years when we know how much this country has changed since then, when we know how much the cost of living has changed since then, when we know how much the cost of so many other things has changed since then. Like I agree. We have to be smart and responsible about the budget, but as part of being smart and responsible about the budget is not just making cuts willy-nilly, but also having conversations, talking to those departments and seeing what's what. I yield.
thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
To you, to Clyde. Clyde, while you're down there, can you tell us how many people work in your office? And just a brief description of what they do. And I want to be very clear, meeting with the mayor is not anyone's favorite thing when he has called us obstructionists weekly. We have been asking for years how many people work in these positions, who's in there, what is their job title, how are they being paid? We have asked that. So I know coming in when Mayor Neely was elected, Clyde, you had one secretary is what your budget allowed. The mayor had, was it 2 people? And so how many people, because they're saying to keep your funding, how many people do you have?
In my office, I have myself, I have my executive assistant, and the communications director is actually under my budget, not the mayor's budget,
Okay,
and an intern. And I would say to you, I mean, the council has to do what it has to do, but yeah, you made, or someone had made a great point about the fact that, yeah, I'm the catch-all. I'm the catch-all for everything that goes wrong or problem or issue. Every department, executive office that has to be manned, when we lose that person, I have to take over. I did it, I'm doing it, I should say, really still for the water department. And all of almost 22 months, I've had to head up that department, along with working with the business and planning office after we lost the director there, organizing that. Not to mention the lead replacement line activity. I've had to spearhead that along with my normal duties
So how
of
many-
operating the city.
okay, so look, how many lines, or can I get a copy of that list, that the lead lines that have not been replaced since you were spearheading that? I would like to.
I can tell you off the top of my head what
I
we've been
want the
talking.
addresses, because I've been asking for that for 2 years, so I can knock on the doors
That's all
myself.
in the hands, you have to know that's all in the hands of the state now. That's in
Well,
the
the
hands of
state
the
said they
state.
had to get, I am going to get it now.
Yes, you can-
After
you
2
can get
years,
that
but I had to
information.
go to
Yes.
Mr. Oswald for that.
Yes, you can get the
So in
information from
in
them.
your statement, so you have 3 people and an intern in your office.
Two, yes,
and
three,
you said
three including
yourself,
myself. Yes, 3 including
Yourself,
myself.
your
and an
executive
intern,
assistant,
right.
the communications director, and an intern.
That's correct.
Okay, and so those are the ones, and then you're telling us your duties, which we haven't been able to keep a DPW director, manager, whatever title you put on it. But that is in your job description to catch all of that. That just happens to be what you're talking. You are in
I
second
wish
of
some
command.
people would come sit with me for a day because
know
I'm
you're
here on the
busy.
weekends too. I'm not here
I
just during
will
the week.
attest to you are
Yes,
on the weekends,
yes.
because when I used to be here on the weekends, you were here also.
Absolutely.
I will absolutely say that.
Saturday and Sunday.
I know, because I was there too. So I'm not talking to you. Yeah, that was true. She down here talking. See, people like her don't help you out. They don't, when I'm asking you the question. So do you know how many people work in the mayor's office?
I can give you
A number?
Yeah, yes, I can even describe who some of the people are at this
Okay.
point. There are 6 public health
The
personnel.
navigators?
Yeah, no, they're not all. Actually, they were funded for 7 total. The manager and 6 positions, 6 navigator positions.
You just hired her a couple of weeks ago, right?
That's correct. But I was
Miss
doing that, I've been
Stutter?
doing that for the last several months
Shebra
too.
is her name.
Shebra, that's correct, Ward, Shebra Ward. Blight Department has 13.
Mhm.
We have 3 people, I believe, that handle resident responses or work with the residents.
What's their title?
That's something I'd have to get from personnel. And
Okay.
then you have the chief of staff, which you already mentioned. He has a person of governmental affairs. And my position. And then there's 1 vacant after that.
What's the one vacant?
It's one he gets to appoint that he has not appointed. He has 4 appointments that he gets to make.
Okay,
Besides, mine is the only one that has to come before council.
that's my time, and so,
Any other discussion in the first round? Go ahead.
Madam,
Dr. Lewis was reaching for her mic. Okay, go ahead.
Madam Chair, through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Edwards. Mr. Edwards, you can continue on.
Oh, that was it. That was yeah, I was just saying that he has, the mayor has 4 appointments, and my position is the only one that actually has to come to council for consent.
what is the mayor's 4 appointments? Name them again?
Uh, Chief of staff, the government affairs person, and the others Arnold Brown as the customers, I forgot what it was called, customer for the blight department. That's the 3 that have already been appointed, plus mine is 4, and then he has 1 vacant he has not appointed for.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. How many people? There are several people that's working in the mayor's office, though.
That's we've named all the ones that's everybody that's working in the office.
Okay,
Yes.
that includes the blight department, right?
Yes, Arnold he has an office inside the suite.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. But the blight department's budget is not included. I'm looking at the blight department's budget right now. Okay. I'll yield my time. I'm trying to think.
Okay, and the only one who hasn't spoken is Dr. Lewis and myself. Dr. Lewis, do you want to take your time? What is your point? We're still in the first. Dr. Lewis, did you want to talk?
Thank you. So, Mr. Edwards, what if we make these cuts to your office? How would that affect your job performance?
Staying home on the weekends. Not able to do, I mean, there's a lot. Right now, I'm looking at a number of things that are really affecting the department when you start, are affecting the city when you start talking about millions of dollars. And there are things that I personally look into, but don't have the time really to delve into it deeply. I realize that working with a lot of the projects, I really need somebody to man project assessment and do project kinds of things. But yeah, if it's cut, then I mean, you know, there's no room to do these things anymore.
So when you say these things, can you give me, again, if I missed it, can you give me some example of what these things look like?
Yes, from a financial standpoint, just looking at manpower hours that are being used in various areas. That's one of the things that, activities that I've been engaged in, on just how we become more efficient, how we become efficient is probably the best way to say it, to get our jobs done. And that's throughout the entire city. That's not just in one department.
Okay. And so, how do you think this will affect the city?
I think that when I have examined and gone from department to department, I've done a lot of analysis. I've got reports from everybody in departments to understand how their jobs function. Many of our employees, who are fantastic people, many of our employees are stretched beyond the limit. And so how will it affect? Well, I mean, you know, we used to be a city that had 2,000 people working in City Hall. Just because the emergency manager came in here and reduced us did not mean we reduced what our demands were as a government to the people. So 2,000 people, what 2,000 people were doing, 500 are doing now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And so, what would you like to tell this council about let me ask you this too. Let me ask you this first. Have anyone met with you in advance to talk about what cuts to your office look like?
No,
Okay, all right. So what would you like to share with this body about the passage of this motion?
that the operating budget that we're talking about is an effective operating budget, a balanced budget, as you've heard from the CFO, but it's an effective budget to move the city forward. Anything short of that, we're gonna have some real issues. There's no question about it. I mean, we're struggling to some degree, making sure some services stay at the level that they need to be for the residents. And I'm saying that, just like I said before, people are stretched. People are retiring because they're stretched so far. So every time you keep stretching them, you want more people to retire that have more of the history and background and understanding of the city. It means that also sets us back. When we keep losing people that understand the interworkings of this city, then that affects how the quality of service will be delivered. We're bringing people back now on subcontracts trying to get that service, get it back up to a level that the residents deserve.
Okay. So, thank you so much, Mr. Edwards. I wanted to make sure that we heard your voice. For one, since you said no one have reached out to you to discuss this, it's hard to make a decision about your office without including your office. It's only fair to do that. And it's good to hear your perspective, because one thing that I don't want to do, I don't want to jump in something prematurely. I don't want to jump into something and not know the ramifications behind it. Because at the end of the day, it's people behind these positions, and we have to make sure that we're fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing, I'm going to take my time. So, Mr. Edwards, what I think my colleagues have not thought about is that since the 2022 fiscal year, we've approved wage increases for across the board, exempt, non-exempt, union, non-union employees. And they've missed that. They're trying to ignore the cost of living that.
Point of order.
What's your point?
My point is, who are they and who they ignored the cost of living? Now, I don't let y'all go far, but y'all doing too much. You don't know what we have done. You're speaking to our motives. Robert's Rules 43.21. You don't know.
So what they are not paying attention to.
Okay, that's
is
still again
the-
point of order. Point of order.
No.
Point.
I'm
You don't know what my
denying
point
your
of order
point.
is.
What is your point?
My point of order, thank you. My point of order is you cannot speak to, or what we think, you cannot speak to that. That's speaking to Mo. You're still doing the same thing. That's a violation, Robert's Rules 43.21.
I think this is very obvious that by trying to take an office down to costs that were 5 years ago, that they are ignoring that. That is very obvious. I'm not speaking to motives. I'm speaking to facts. And also that everything has increased. We have talked about that. You are stretched to the limit. I was lucky to get, 5 minutes the other day from you? And even then it was like pulling teeth, and I was in the office after another meeting. So I am not in favor of going back 5 years in wages when we've given raises to individuals. We would have to you would be on your own in that office. You'd be answering your phones. You would be doing all your own emails. That's not your level. You need someone to do those for you. What's your request? When you add in pension and stuff, you still will not be able to afford another person in that office. You will not. So I think my colleagues are so determined. Look, I would like to see some, if I thought that budget cuts could be made and we could keep the same service to our residents, I'd be all in favor of it. I'd be all up in your butt. But I don't. I think that we actually need more people in service areas to service the residents. Yeah, I'd love to see more people in fire and police because we need those, but we can't hire people if they don't apply. But the cuts that they want to make are just crazy. Obviously, in consideration of the mayor's budget, we found out that under the mayor's budget line item is the health navigators. Were they in existence back when they were trying to, for the year that they were trying to turn that back into, if so, where were the wages? Because they obviously weren't in the mayor's department because that's only 2 employees. So I am not supporting this. I find that every single one of our employees work their butts off. And I am going to support the employees of the city because they serve the residents. They're not here to get rich. You can't get rich. Matter of fact, today, I wouldn't even apply for a job in the finance department because they couldn't afford me. But that's the case across the city. The city does not have competitive wages, period. And they want to cut it even more. Second round. Anybody in the second?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I think it's laughable that they have no problem with approving contracts that are going to raise dollars and cut their personal budgets for the residents. Meaning they got no problem signing the trash contract that's going to take money out of the residents' pocket. Like the residents can, like you got to make cuts and you got to deal with it, but everything that they approve, they refuse to make any cuts for our operating expenses. They expect residents to make cuts by the escalated contracts that have been approved. And Mr. Edwards, you named about 6 people. And there's departments for all of those. The 18 is currently what is in the mayor's office, wants to go to 29 heads. You said Arnold, you're not in the mayor's budget, you're in your own budget.
Correct.
Right. And I'm not even, so,
I named you
yeah, you named the things, but there's
positions.
currently 18, and I asked the question, who's the other 11? And who is the 18? Nobody can answer that, Mr. Edwards, not one person. And they said that they were going to get back to me, and they didn't. They didn't, because they don't take us seriously. I bet you take us seriously now, don't you? I bet you do. Mr. Edwards, I believe we approved your pay package to be 125, maybe more, and it's in that ballpark, correct?
Somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah. So you would have $100,000 to potentially hire the staff that you need or that you can get by with. I don't understand how we expect the residents to tighten their belt, but we refuse to. We only grow. We only grow. It's time for us to regress, to get our bearings, to see how we can move the city forward. We're not moving forward. We're regressing. Without the ARPA funds being transferred to our general fund, this would be in a even more abysmal budget.
Anybody else in the second round? Anyone else in the second round?
Madam,
Go ahead. Dr.
thank,
Lewis.
thank you. It's definitely unfair when we try to make power moves without doing our due diligence. I don't know where well, I do know where I guess, where the ideal is coming from. But I will say that tonight, my colleagues are living up to their title of stalemate strategists. And so, yeah, it is okay, and it's fine, because whether you pass it or not, it is what it is. We
Point
don't
of
have
order.
enough. And so,
My point is,
We-
you need to correct her for calling her colleagues names. Because we're not this is serious business, and she's taking shots and calling names. Her decorum, listen, page 26, section 3-104.
Go ahead,
That you
Dr.
must
Lewis.
act with decorum.
I definitely will, because you received the award. Both of you all went to Philadelphia to receive
Point
the
of order,
award,
point
to
of
receive
order,
the
point of
Stalemate
order.
Strategist
Your
Award.
point.
That is not.
And so, it's very
Point of
germane.
order.
Point of, it
Oh,
was
I'm
point of
sorry.
order.
It is not germane to the amendment on the floor.
Go ahead, Dr. Lewis.
Thank
Please
you.
do not call our colleagues by the award title that they received. Thank you.
Okay, but they received Stalemate Strategist Award
Point of order.
for stopping the business
Point
in
of
the city of
order.
Flint.
What's your point?
Madam Chair, you might want to stop her.
I did request that you not say it. Go ahead, go ahead.
You can
Because
request,
we
you
still
can
have-
request that
we
I'm
still-
not.
Madam Chair, we
Who
still
ha-
have business.
Who-
I'm not gonna
This is
take
my
her
time.
mess tonight, because I get up and
Get up
leave.
and go.
Hey,
Your
hey,
fifth
hey,
one
hey.
would appreciate
Stop.
that. It's my time, but go
Stop.
ahead. Go
You better
ahead.
act like you got some sense.
You need to act like I got the floor. So go
That's right.
ahead.
You do not have the floor. Go ahead, Dr. Lewis. You do not have the floor. Go ahead, Dr. Lewis.
Absolutely. So as I act like I got some sense, clearly they didn't act like they had any when they went and they received those awards with pride. Stalemate strategists. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
You better stop her.
Stop me from what?
Point of order.
From taking my time?
Point of order.
What's your point?
Any award or anything that colleagues went to on their own time is 100% not germane to the motion in the amendment on the floor.
Again, they are the proud recipients of these
Point
awards.
of
Point of
order.
order, you need to
Madam
correct
Chair.
her. Decorum.
Dr. Lewis,
We didn't even know about those
Please
or
do
apply
not,
for those.
do not.
We didn't know about the awards, but we
No, no,
still
no, no, no.
I didn't say
graciously.
anything
No,
when
no,
they
no.
awarded you the bad wig awards.
Stop. Enough back there, please. I'm trying.
Whoa, is that
And
Billy
this is
Dance?
your warning, Mrs. Hall.
Is,
And I'm giving them about ready to give that too. Miss Dr. Lewis,
mhm.
please stay germane to this resolution.
This is very germane because this resolution looks like it is going to fail because we have colleagues that instead of doing their due diligence and seeing what department should be cut, instead of having these conversations with the administration to see where they can trim fat, we want to sit up here and we want to waste their time. Just like Mr. Seamus Bannon said, he said that we have live. They've been here all day and it's almost 10 o'clock at night and we're talking in circles. We're putting motions on the floor. We're putting motions on the floor that have not thoroughly been vetted. And so we're expecting colleagues to go with that. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what we're here for. And it's unfortunate that now we're not proud of receiving our Stalemate Strategist Award for disrupting the business of the city. I can play back the video because it's all for the
Point
record.
of order. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Again, this is all relevant because what is this doing? What will not passing this budget do? It will stop the business of the city. What did they get awards for? For stopping the business of the city. So if what I'm saying is not germane, then I don't know what is germane. So we can get up and leave this meeting. Who's she talking to? To everyone that proudly accepted that award for stopping the business. So if you want to stop the business, make sure that you talk to those employees that are employed by the city. You tell them what you're doing and you be okay with it. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to get in the middle of how people eat and feed their family and take care of their families. You all brag about how I have family, how I'm a mother. Well, it's mothers that work for the administration. Maybe you need to go and talk to the mothers that work for the administration and see what they're saying. But now you just want to overtalk me and not listen. That's fine. Whatever you do, the people see you, the 6th Ward see you, administration see you. Stalemate strategy.
Any
I'd
other
like the
discussion
floor,
in the
Madam
second round?
Chair.
Pardon?
I would like the floor.
Go
I have
ahead.
not had it. First of all, you let her just ramble because something is wrong. Her meds are off or something. As far as this stalemate strategy, first of all, I didn't know I was even receiving it. But you just mad because people won't honor you. But they did honor you with the bad wigs. Quit receiving them in the mail. How about that?
All
I'm
right.
tired
So,
of you.
ma-
I'm tired of you. They
No,
did
no,
give you
no.
that award.
That's decorum.
They did give you that
That's
award. They
decorum.
gave it to you. There was
That's
an award they
decorum.
gave to you.
Only one person has the
Yeah,
floor.
Point of
well, you need
order.
to get her.
What
You
you
need to
Point,
get her.
but point of order is like
That
I mean,
wig is
decorum.
bad.
Miss, all talking shall cease, as you are so commonly wanting to say.
Again.
Go ahead.
Point of order, lack of decorum. Because if I get up here and if I start saying things, that won't be professional. That's not presidential. So we should not allow Winky in the 6th Ward to get away with this.
That
Okay.
is
Listen
not-
here, you
that-
break every
that
shank in
is
your
not-
shoes, okay?
You do not have the floor. This is mine.
Through the chair,
Yes.
you all have been working through this budget methodically. And this budget decision needs to be made by the first Monday in June in order for you to be in compliance with the charter. So I would request that you continue on making your amendments, motions, and passing, denying, so that the city can continue to operate. If the budget does not pass in whatever form you decide, we have more than 500 employees that will be laid off. We have trash that will not be picked up. We have water services that will not continue until we can get money to pay for those services. So you all have been diligent, working through, it's after 10 o'clock.
Yes.
No, almost 10
Almost.
o'clock. So if we need to take a break, let's do that. We still have 3 days before the budget has to be adopted, whether you decide to do the one from last year. But please, let's just continue with the decorum, work through what we can so that we can be in compliance with the charter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Burns, you have the floor.
Thank you, Attorney Gurley, because it didn't fly off the hinges until number 2 went off the hinges. She was completely unhinged, completely. And we were working through it methodically. I called Clyde Edwards up, but she's always allowed to call names. Give back that $75,000 to your own nonprofit. Since
Madam,
you're so
Ms.
concerned
Burns,
about
Ms.
people's
Burns,
funds.
Ms. Burns,
Give that back.
Ms. Burns.
You have that stern attitude with her.
Please stay germane to this resolution.
Oh, well, now you want to be Jermaine. You know what? Listen, Clyde, I know what you do. Y'all need to deal with her. Y'all do whatever y'all got to do, because she is your problem. She's your problem. And I'm not going to let her talk crazy to me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to allow her. When I asked you to come up, we had great dialogue so that people could see, and we didn't know who was on your budget. what was added to your budget. But then you have an unhinged person with an unhinged wig, and this is the mess we get in.
Per Robert's
This is
rules,
what
you
we get
cannot
in.
call attention to people's appearances. Go ahead.
So I don't know where we, because I want, and can you come back up, Clyde? Because I do have the communications director. How long has this, I don't even know who she is. Who's the communications director?
Shauna Rouser.
Shauna Rouser?
Shauna Rouser.
Shauna, okay. And how long has she been here?
I believe it's 5 or 6 months.
Okay, and how much does she make?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Can you,
Yeah.
Mr. Moore, do you know?
Yeah, maybe Mr. Moore.
Okay, so if we could get a breakdown, because we will obviously be here of what your department and what each person makes, so that we can see. But I think the question is really, we're, also with your, but, and then also we need it in the mayor's department. We could get who works, where and in what department, because I don't take it lightly. And I don't appreciate my colleagues speaking to what they do not know, but my concerns are, nor my work ethic. Because it was many nights you stayed when I worked there. You made sure I got out together. You're like, hey, you got to go. We were both there. So I get the work that you do. See, this is y'all problem over here. Wig Wombat won't keep her mouth shut. She won't keep her mouth shut. Anyway, that's my time.
Yeah, yes, Madam Chair. I find it quite interesting that today the councilwoman in the 4th Ward talks about not cutting the mayor's budget, whereas back in fiscal year of 2022, she wanted to slash the mayor's budget. So I find that quite interesting. So today she has another story. She don't want to cut the budget. I wonder why. Madam Chair, through you to Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, I was looking through the check registry. And, oh Lord, I'm gonna tell you what. See, this is, along with this budget, we have to be transparent. Now, I'm wondering why it took us so long to get this. But there are some things on this registry that I don't understand. But it's coming out of taxpayers' money. Your taxpayers' funds. I see a line item in here for $150,000, a check for the MAID Institute. Can you explain that?
I believe that came out of opioid dollars.
What?
So,
I was requested earlier today by Mr. Pfeiffer to look into that. I haven't had a chance to look into the details of it yet.
okay, but we, the council, we didn't approve that.
Yes,
How?
yes, you did.
Yes, you did. There's a resolution that you approved
For the MAID Institute?
for that 150,000.
Yes.
Made out to the MAID Institute?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we find the resolution?
We'll find it. We'll find it.
But see, this is
Wasn't me.
the,
I vote for that.
no, stop my time.
I do believe that you will find that anything that was approved or voted on for the Made Institute was prior to even Eric's death. Go ahead.
But see, this is the kind of shadiness I'm talking about, okay? And I'm gonna say another thing. With the Blight Department being under the mayor's department, I feel like that's another way of sliding money.
Any other discussion in the second round? The only one who hasn't, people who haven't spoken is myself and Ms. Mashat. Ms. Mashat, did you want to take your time?
Mushat, absolutely.
Mashat, so sorry.
So just to kind of stay in the same vein as Attorney Gurley, because I thought maybe we all understood. We're supposed to be talking about the administrator's office and if there are any possible cuts. He has had an opportunity to come up here and discuss the detriment that that would cause. We are all clear that he works very hard and that the staff that he has is necessary staff. And just even from listening to him talk, he is pretty much bare bones around here as far as staff is concerned. Having worked in a mayor's office myself and understanding the importance of having a communications director, especially for a city and a city that continues to be in crisis, that is also a very necessary position. I think that we need to get back focused on the fact that right now the decision is, what are we going to do as far as funding this office and this budget? And so I am going to reiterate the fact that I will not be supporting any cuts because there is plenty of, you know what, I'm going to call you to order. That's cool. In the black security shirt. My name is Debbie Clark. There you go. So as I was saying, as we're trying to handle city business, it would be a huge detriment to that office to make any cuts. Mr. Edwards, everybody knows that, city administrators are the catch-all, and that is just the reality. And knowing that it's already just you and really working in your office, one other person, because you are funding another necessary city position. But I'm just not comfortable with the amount of work that you have to do, and then the amount of work that puts on your administrative assistant with saying that we will not value the staff that we have in that office, or we will undervalue what that office does by making slashes when there is probably somewhere else that a cut could possibly be made. So I will not, especially after hearing from you, support any cuts to your office. I yield.
Request for information.
What's your request?
What's your request? Oh, sorry.
Thank you. So,
Sorry.
so are you aware that the resolution pertaining to the Made Institute that they were talking about, that it was passed in November of 23 before Mr. Elamine was on the council? And in terms of the voting, Ms. Burns voted yes for it. So I just want to make sure that you knew that as we proceed to our next vote.
Listen.
That was an improper.
So I would like to
I said point of order.
I was ruling on their point of information.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I would like to answer that. Thank you. That is actually great details. Thank you for the clarity on
Request for
when the Made
information.
Institute
What's
received
your
that money.
request?
Did we know that it was just paid October 2024?
So I'm answering Dr. Lewis's. I was in the middle of responding to Dr. Lewis. So thank you again for highlighting that, because regardless of when it was paid, it was voted on before he was on council. So I do think we need to be fair. Since we're speaking on it, we need to be fair and talk about when it was done, because I just don't want there to be any insinuations about him and money because he's been working in the community for quite some time now, well over a decade, to build and help people as they're coming home. And so we want to make sure that we honor that work and not make it seem like something shady happened. Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me. This is your warning. Please sit down. Are there, this is, all right, that's everybody's discussion. I'm not going to add anything more. So this is the vote to move the administrator's budget to the fiscal year 22 actual levels.
Ms. Priestley,
No.
Ms. Murphy Carter,
Yes.
Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Mashat,
No.
Mr. Pfeiffer,
Yes.
Dr. Lewis.
No.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no. That motion fails. Are there any more amendments?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I got to ask a question before I make amendment though. So through you to Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore.
Page 25.
Mr. Moore, how is the $72,000 paid to Flint Golf? And through which line item?
The what?
Yeah, 'cause I don't see it.
Could you repeat that question again? Sir?
What account or what line item is Flint Golf paid their $72,000?
I believe it's played out of the park, but I'm not 100% sure of that.
Because there's a golf line item, but the expense is only, actually it's blank this year, proposed. So what,
I believe it was paid out of Parks and Rec. I'd have to double check that. I believe
the Parks
numbers
and
that
Rec,
you see on the
what
budget,
line item is Parks and Rec, sir?
the
'Cause-
line item for golf that you see in the general fund, I believe had to do with staff salaries. But I'd have to double check that.
Okay. In fiscal year '24, did we receive any payment? Because the contract with Flint Golf is to split evenly the profits from the golf courses. Did we receive any money?
No, we did not.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Moore, I need to know where I'm cutting money from. So tell me which line item has the Flint Golf? Because it's a racket.
I'll get to the, I don't have the account number off the top of my head, but I can get to that tomorrow morning.
Request for information.
What's your request?
My request is, do we know through how much we received from Dino's Bar and Grill?
Zero.
And also the unauthorized cannabis events that they had at the golf course. Did we get any funds from that?
And we got zero from them subleasing the land out to a tree cutting service that's using the parking lot to store their vehicles. So, Mr. Moore, I need to know right now, which line item am I cutting? Through you to Mr. Edwards. Mr. Edwards, do you know? I'm sure you're well aware of the contract. What account is that paid out of?
I don't know what count it's from. I'd have to, check into that. I'm familiar with what you're talking about, the 72. I'm familiar with what you're talking about, the $72,000 agreement.
$72,000, and we're supposed to split the profits when they operated in previous years with at least over $100,000 profit each year, according to profits and loss statements. But now when we're paying $72,000 and allegedly splitting the profits, we got nothing.
I believe that agreement just started, though.
The agreement started last year, sir. In fiscal year '24, Mr. William Kim was here and he drafted it, and I can pull it up and send it to you. It was started in fiscal year '24.
But for this season, though.
No, for last season. It was in place all of last season.
Request for information.
What's your request?
These were bidded out. Why are we paying 72,000 when we had companies to pay us money?
Ms. Burns, if we had more than 1 minute with the mayor, maybe he would answer that question.
Point of information, that information needs to come from Ashley. Ashley's the one who's involved with that because I actually know somebody who works with Flint Golf. And so that comes from, Ashley is the one.
He's the CFO. He's the CFO.
But
I'm asking
Ashley is
him
the
what-
one who dealt with the contract.
Request for information. Did Ashley approve the contract this year? Did she approve it this year?
From my understanding is, no.
There's no
Okay.
contract as of a month
Judy, I
ago.
know what I'm, questions I'm asking, and you got the wrong ones.
So I'm going to make an amendment. I'm going to make an amendment to cut Flint Golf LLC $72,000 from the appropriate line item, and I so move.
There's a motion on the floor to cut Flint Golf
You can't tell me.
from the appropriate line item for $72,000.
I support that motion.
The motion was made by Councilman in the 8th Ward, supported by the Councilwoman in the 5th Ward. Is there any discussion?
Through the chair,
Yes.
the latest contract was one of the first ones that came to the law department when I came in January. Under the contract, the $72,000 is only to be used for capital improvements over at the golf course. So it is not a payment directly to the manager or that management company. It is only for capital improvements, and there were certain types of capital improvements that could be made that money could be used for. So if we don't make those capital improvements, that 72,000 would not be
So
utilized.
where's the operating contract, madam?
I'll send that to you.
And they're paying us now?
There is a provision where they are to split in some respects some of their profits.
So the previous contract was $72,000 that we're paying them, and we're splitting the profits, and we got nothing. That is a previous contract.
Okay.
So if you can get us a previous or the contract of the one for upcoming, because we just made a payment to them in February. I believe February 28th of this year, we paid them $72,000.
I do recall that, and that was based on that previous contract that you were referring to, where the city made payment to that vendor.
Yep.
And now it has changed.
Okay, well, I'm still cutting because they, from my perspective, they voided the contract by not sharing any profits. And don't tell me that there's not profits, being a full bar and profits every other year. So they can do without the $72,000 this year, then, because obviously we weren't brought up to speed. And how is an operating contract not being brought to city council? That is amazing. So my motion still stands.
Is there any discussion in the first round?
You got to get a support for that.
I did.
Jared supported, okay.
Mhm. Is there any discussion in the first round?
Madam
Was,
Chair.
I'm sorry, real quick, was that not discussion from him?
Oh, yeah, that would be his discussion. Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Thank you. Through you to Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, so with this type of property, because he's profiting from it, has the tax assessor stated that should they be paying taxes on the property?
I haven't heard anything from the assessor about that.
Okay, can you
don't think
look
she's
into
looked at
that
that.
for me and get back?
Okay.
Oh, not done. So do we have any financials at this, because we're talking about two golf courses that I don't believe they would still be doing if they weren't making any money. And cannabis events are pretty much all cash. So do we know from the events that have been held at the golf course if they have made any profit? It's every event that's been, we're talking Kersley and Swartz Creek, have they profited from any of the events?
I don't, we have annual statements. I don't think we have it by event.
Okay, have you seen any of their financials, or has any of our staff, because she stated Ashley deals with them, Has anyone seen their financials before making this decision?
Yes.
Okay, I want to see it, and I'm going to tell you why. There are bidders who are higher, considerably higher, who we keep giving it to this vendor, and it's just below that $75,000 threshold to where it doesn't come to council. And these bidders were higher. They were actually paying the city money, but whether it's capital improvements, like Ms. Gurley said, they were going to do the capital improvements. So this is went to purchasing, I think, the past 3 years. And this has been, in my opinion, a true backdoor deal. We don't have any of their financials. There's no way. And I'm going to tell you, I know one vendor with the cannabis made $20,000. That was just one vendor. And so this is a publicly owned property where they're making a profit, and nobody in the city has asked them how much Dino's Bar and Grill is making. No one has asked them in the city, what are they getting from the events that are held there? No one's asking them, we need to see your financials. No one's got them. And year after year, they fall below that threshold. Other bidders are higher, and this company
Request for
just keeps.
information.
What's your request?
Are you aware that other bidders want to pay us instead of us paying them?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, the other bidders, which were higher. And we don't take any of those bidders. Danny's Golf was one. Guys, is it AI something? They bid. And it's more than one. Well, actually, it's about 4. And each year we take the company, the city has to pay. We don't ask for their financials. We don't ask them if they're making a profit. They haven't paid the city $0. And we continue to take this. They don't pay taxes on the property that they're profiting from. This is ludicrous. So if you can get me information, because this is really, it makes, you do numbers. I read your resume.
We do have the financial statements for last year. I can get you those.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to know how much, because he's an accountant. I want to see him. Because when we talk about this, and why are we taking the lowest bidder and not the highest bidder? Help me with that process.
I wasn't part of that process. So
Okay, well, okay. Well, you know what? And I'm going to tell you, with this deal, this right here is a problem, because I've had 2 bidders contact me who said they were going to contact the federal agency, because this is the 3rd time. I don't have answers to it because we don't have it. The Bar and Grill doesn't have any financials. The events don't have any financials. And they have a liquor license. So I'm not, okay. If you can get those things, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So this is something that I'm not particularly leaning one way or the other for or against. I need more information to make an informed vote. So first, I need the contract from last year, I need the contract from this year, and I need financials. So the only reason I'm not going to agree to the proposed amendment right now is because I need more information. And so I'm guessing this is probably something else that's going to be before us once again tomorrow. And then once I get that information, I will be able to determine whether or not I can support this proposed amendment. I don't want to keep and or slash anything as it relates to this until I get more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So I agree with my colleague in the 7th Ward. But I just also just want to reiterate that this would be the 3rd special meeting in, and we could have had all this completed. And so I just want to encourage my colleague to please, let's
Yes. We have one of the radios that's going off. Can we have whoever's police radio going off going? Okay.
I mean, people yelling out louder than the radio, but anyway, nevertheless. Yeah, I just want to encourage my colleagues to let's come to these meetings to get the information that you seek so we all can vote on it and move on it. Because, I mean, it feel like that we keep changing the goalposts, you know. Hopefully we can get all the questions that we have answered. We can send whatever email need to be sent. So when Mr. Moore and Mr. Edwards come before us, they have exactly what we need so we can pass that budget right away, because this is the third special meeting that we're calling. And some people do have other things to do. So I don't want to keep coming here for the same thing when we can get this handled by sending an email, having a meeting, or just prepping the appropriate administration. All right, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round? Second round. Any other discussion in the second round? No, I had already called for second round before she spoke. Yep. She was the first speaker in the second round.
So, Madam Chair.
Yes, go
I just
ahead.
want to I'm just making a formal request for the old contract, the new contracts, and any financials so that I can make an informed decision here.
Please put that in writing to the clerk so she can forward it.
Well, no, I'm just going to request it to her right now. But thank you.
Any other discussion in the second round? I'm going to take my time. I'm also going to say that I don't have enough information to make an informed decision on, based on the actual facts. I just know based on my communications with people involved with the Flint Golf Club. And I know I'm only hearing one side, so I need to have all the facts before I can make a decision on this amendment. So I'm going to vote no on this at this point. This is the vote to cut Flint Golf from the appropriate line item for $72,000.
Ms. Winfrey Carter,
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Mashat. No. Mr. Pfeiffer,
Yes.
Dr. Lewis,
No.
Ms. Priestley.
No.
Vote is 3 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no. That amendment failed. Is there any others? Are there any others?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Need to ask a question before I make one. So through you to Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore, what was our marijuana tax? How much did we get from the state?
I believe it's around 690 this year.
Is it projected to go up more next year?
I believe so. I believe we have, it depends on the mix of the licenses we have, but talk to staff, they believe it's going to go up some next year.
So why is it so escalated this year, the budget for it? We go from 171,000 to 435,000. How did that double?
It's based on the number of licenses that we have.
But next year it goes back down to 152. Or the fiscal year 27 forecast goes down to 152. So why is it escalated so dramatically this year?
I don't think that's the right number. A second.
Looking at line 18, cannabis compliance.
The marijuana tax, we're forecasting in 26 to be around 640,000.
No, this is expenses, not income.
Oh, the expenditures? That's,
Yes.
okay, that's the staff that we have to administer the program. That could be less.
And I understand that, but why is it, how did we go from 171,000 for this year, and then the upcoming year, we're at 435.
Uh,
Mr. Edwards, do you know?
That's-
I certainly don't want to cut any compliance stuff, but I'd like to know why it's so high. Why is it so dramatic from one year to the next? And then back down?
Oh, you're talking probably about the OPEB.
No?
No,
No?
just a second. Let me-
What
I'm looking
line?
at fiscal year 25 budget as 171,000, and then fiscal year 26 proposed 435. Madam Chair, do you know?
I'm lost. I don't know where you're talking. Please tell me
What
again.
page are you on?
I'm on the page 3 of the thing.
Page 3 of the
Yeah,
budget.
line 18.
Thank you very much. I did.
Line 18. We go from 171 this fiscal year to next fiscal year, 435. That's a threefold.
Let me,
Okay.
It says actual though,
Here?
560. It's saying 171 here
Right.
to propose 135, but it had actual earnings of 560.
This is the OPEB year. I don't even count that one.
this isn't OPED.
Yeah, it is. That's the.
No. OPED is this dollar amount.
Yeah.
This is OPED.
That's
Now,
the
It's not
OPEB.
the column. This column is fiscal year 2025, actual year to date.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
understand
OPEB.
that.
Oh.
That's the year
Oh, I
that
see
we-
what you're saying. You're ignoring that
Yeah,
number.
yeah, I
That's
ignore
OPEB
that year.
right there.
We go from 171.
So we have
Yeah, that's what
additional
he's talking about,
personnel.
that
So that would be,
Right.
that would come from
Right.
Mr.
That's 25.
But
Oh,
You see the
yeah,
OPEB grant.
okay.
That's the
Well,
OPEB
why
grant
does-
coming in.
That's the OPEB that's.
We-
we're
No,
talking
No,
about.
no. Let me show.
Can I approach?
Yeah, you can come, yeah. And I just want clarity. I don't want to cut anything that we. Yeah, that's why I'm not counting it. Like I'm going from fiscal year 25 budget to this, so that comes off the OPEB, and then we add up.
It looks like it went from 1 FTE to 2 FTEs.
But then why does fiscal year 27 drop to $17,000? For, yeah, so explain, I just want to know. But it's but it's basically almost in line from fiscal year 25 from 171 to 152. But it's. So what is the supplies and operating expenses going up to $105,000? Like we're adding a staff member and people under contract?
I'll have to get to the detail. We have a lot of detail that breaks that out. I can find out what they're,
That was not discussed during budget hearings, so
The whole marijuana was
I
not.
don't think any of that department was discussed. There were no questions about that.
right, yeah.
I mean, what is the $105,000? Is that a service contract? We're adding a person and a service contract?
I can't answer that off the top of my head. I'll have to.
And
go
the
look.
person, the one person we're adding is $109,000?
With all the benefits and things,
No,
probably.
that's not including benefits. That's just, the pension and OPEB is the benefits, right?
No, the pension,
Personnel
the
includes
salary and wages includes things like
taxes and benefits.
taxes, well, yeah, FICA taxes,
yeah.
health insurance. It would also, it includes a lot of other costs that are associated with the personnel.
So can you find those,
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
find out what, we're adding a person and what the 105,000 in supplies and operating expenses is for?
I made a note for that.
So I'll yield to anybody else, because I'll hold off on that, because I definitely don't want any enforcement on cannabis to be lacking, but
No.
hopefully we can get some answers on that.
Are there any other amendments?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Moore, do we have a personal service contract with Shelby Freer for $7,500 a month?
We had a contract, I believe that has expired.
So how much was the contract for?
Uh,
And we're literally finding out who's got a contract by going through the check register.
That's another question that Mr. Pfeiffer requests. I'll be providing that to him.
Okay, so that one we don't know then. And so are you gonna email all of us?
I normally would, yes, I'll send it to the clerk and she'll distribute it to everybody.
Okay, and then I have a question, because we've got more than one. So July 26, 2024. I don't know why did we pay the Made Institute again for $39,575? Does Mr. Edwards know?
No, that was also on Mr. Pfeiffer's list. I just haven't had a chance to do that. I got his list this afternoon and I just haven't had a chance to look into it yet.
Okay, if you could get that, and I had also, if we can get that, I'm gonna yield the floor to my colleagues. At what time is it?
It's 10:34.
Thank you. And what is-
Any other amendments? Are there any other amendments?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, let's discuss your department. Can you tell me why you need $407,000 for supplies and operating expenses?
I can get you a list of the detail for that. A good portion of that.
How much money of that is employment contracts?
I think it's not listed as employment contracts, it's for professional services.
Professional service contract.
And that would include things like actuaries and things that which we have to do each year. And I believe that's like I want to say it's 150,000.
So why is it so much dramatic, or why has it, your supplies and operating expenses, you're almost tenfold from fiscal year 22, almost tenfold. We were 50 grand in 2022. And I get my colleagues saying, oh, cost of living and everything else, tenfold, Mr. Moore. I mean, and I get the, wages went up from fiscal year 2022, you're $500,000 more cost. You went from 628 to 1.1 million. That's like 40%. And tell me how the finances of the city are going to improve, because so far we haven't saved any money on audits. We haven't saved it. So you're costing 40% more, and no offense, hopefully you don't take it this way, but how can we justify a 40% increase to the residents in your department? How is the life and the finances of the city increasing by 40%?
I think it's the allocation of some of the personnel that, things that were, it's in the personnel numbers. And,
Like, like, what do you, because this is only your office. This is not the treasurer, the assessor,
Right,
or
I understand.
or fleet, or facilities, none of that. This is your office.
It's mostly in staffing.
So we increased staff by 40% from fiscal year 22?
I don't know fiscal year 22.
Well, I'm like, that's the numbers from 2022 that I'm looking at. So I'm just trying to figure out how, because at some point, we're not increasing taxes, and our revenue isn't increasing by 40%, but yet we're spending 40% more on your department.
I suspect part of that, and I don't know this because I have not looked at 22.
Right.
That in years past, a large amount of the work done by the finance department was done through contracts that were funded by the state of Michigan. And I suspect that's part of it. I'd have to double check that though. I haven't looked at 2022, so I don't know.
Point of information. As finance chair, I do have some of this relevant information. The state of Michigan did help to prepare our financial statements at the time because we were woefully understaffed. This is the first time since we've been elected that his department is fully staffed. So that's part of the reason why the cost has gone up.
That's correct.
And we also have some other outside agencies doing some work for us that the state was not paying for, that they are now, that we did ourselves. We actually needed help in preparing some of the financial statements work for this year because of the cyber attack. So we had to outsource some of those because they were too busy trying to catch up from all the other stuff. So that's why there's additional.
Mr. Moore, how much money did we spend? Because not one resolution came before this council on that cyber attack. How much money did we spend on that?
That's hit in a number of different places. Off the top of my head, I'm guessing I believe it's less than $1 million, but I don't know. It was expensive.
Because we still, to my knowledge, we still haven't been briefed. We haven't been told the solve or what has been done and implemented. We haven't been told what has been spent. We haven't been told what departments may still be vulnerable. If that needs to be a private or a executive session, that's one thing, but we have been told nothing. I don't think we've had a closed session on that since when Cups was here in acting as the attorney. That was a year ago.
No, there was
quite some time
one-
ago. I don't know if it was a year ago.
Yes, yeah. We had 2 closed sessions, concerning that matter to brief the council on everything that was happening at that time. So that was the last time that closed.
Yeah.
The one closed session. It's been tapering off since that time period, though.
So
It hasn't escalated. It's been going.
yeah, no, I get
Yeah,
that.
it's been
So
tapering off.
the finances and the money that we spent on that, because they weren't brought to council, what account did those come out of?
Most of that came out of the IT budget.
But
Which
we
is
would,
an
then we
internal
would have
source
blown
of-
the IT budget out of the water. So were we not brought budget amendments?
I think if you look through it, I don't believe the city council actually approves the internal service budgets. And that's because the budgets
We
are
do.
assumed in
We
the
do.
rest
If
of.
anything that's spent above the budget that we approve, we get budget amendment.
Right, but those work their way through, because you approve all the other budgets, those numbers are built into the other numbers, the other budgets that we have.
I'm confused, Mr. Moore.
the costs for the internal service are borne by every other fund, and you approve every other fund, and if you, in the theory.
So even if there's a cross-department charge
Right.
that blows the budget out of the thing, that doesn't get brought to us?
That's a different question. If, depending on the dollar amount, that should go to the city council, yes, sir.
Because if you're saying you spent $1 million, 0 of that came before council. 0.
I'm not sure that's correct. I'd have to double, I'm sure that some of the
Point
things,
of order.
we bought some,
The clock isn't moving? The clock?
No, because I'm going to call your time because you are asking questions as discussion items and we're looking for amendments. So I'm going to call that a discussion item. So that's your time, Mr. Pfeiffer. Thank you very much, Dr. Lewis. Are there any other amendments?
Madam Chair.
What is your, yes, ma'am. Do you have amendment?
Yes, Mr. Moore, maybe you can tell me what line item that we can amend where we can spend $1 million and it doesn't come to council. I want to know what line item. Where does it come from? Because we're spending money. What category is that
The
in?
internal service funds are, every department has an allocation for internal service charges.
Up to $1 million plus?
Yes.
Because that's when
plus.
the FBI was here, right?
Right. That,
So,
and the idea is to spread the cost across there are a number of costs that are for the benefit of the entire city. Those are set up in internal service funds to allocate the cost. And
where does it show where it's spent on our budget?
well, if you, for example, if you look at the motor pool has charges that they make every month to the different departments for the vehicles, and that'll show up under some of their vehicle expenses.
Okay, that was one. They didn't do $1 million.
No.
So what I'm asking, if you can get us to show,
The $1 million, I was just guessing. I need to get a number.
and that's fine. You can just get back with us or email us and let us know, please.
Because there are a lot of different vendors that were involved in the
Yep.
process.
I remember you were telling it the one time we were briefed, but what I'm saying is this administration has bypassed council before. So I want to know where this came
Okay.
from, and if you could share with our council members, and is it safe? Because you told us you couldn't get us to check register because it wasn't safe. Yeah, you said it wasn't safe.
Well,
Well, he said it wasn't safe.
we do have,
Okay, hold on, because
okay.
the
you're-
city
you're-
administrator,
you're-
can you, Mr.
you're-
Edwards?
You're mixing different items there because what was happening with the check register is bad actors outside the city were looking at the register saying, okay, this is a vendor of the city, and they were trying to redirect where the direct deposits were going to them.
Right, so, and I had that conversation, if I could find out where we're at line item, because for 10 months trying to get the copy of this, I could not get it, and that was one of them that you told me. And then first they went ignored for forever. It literally ignored the request. Then I was told, well, other outside vendors, it's just not safe, and they're, from the cyber tech, and they're trying to come. I was told everything up until this last 2 weeks, with the week and a half that we received the check register, where we have a lot of questions. But if we're being under, how do we pay for this cyber attack? Where is it checked off at? Does it come out of a little bit out of each department, or did it come out of one department? Where did it come from?
We'll get you a list. I'm not sure I can get you that by tomorrow, but we'll get you a list for that.
Well, then how much time do you think you will need? Because we have a very little amount. We don't even have a window. We got like a dollhouse window. It's closing. And so I don't, if you won't have it by tomorrow, That's important for me because that's a lot of money that was spent. And no briefings. We had one, and almost $1 million or however much, and however much it takes to make sure it's secure, but we had no briefings. So if you can get that, I know you won't have it by tomorrow. The next day is Friday. So, and then it's Saturday and Sunday, and we have to have it done by, is it Monday? So I don't know how that works for your timeline, but I need it, please. Because that cyber attack shut down McLaren. It is, I think, other hospitals and areas. The county had one. So I would like to know how we're handling that, where
Okay.
it's coming from.
All right,
and how
that's a
we're paying
discussion.
for it.
That was discussion because we did not make an amendment on that as well. Any other amendments?
He didn't have a line item where it came from. I asked him.
Any other amendments?
Madam,
Yes, go ahead.
$15, it was raised to $30.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it's not a line item on this, but I'm gonna take the city council travel budget back down to 15,000.
Okay, there's motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 8th Ward to reduce the council travel and conference budget from 25,000 to 15,000. Is there support?
Support.
It's
Oh,
already
you
been
say support,
supported.
thanks.
I'm just typing it up. Is there any discussion?
Yep. Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna ask any other department to take a budget cut and us not take one as well. We can't control, we can't control any of the other costs, but we can certainly control that one. So, I mean, I'll take it down to 0. But I know some of my colleagues want to go to Michigan Municipal League and.
Request for information.
Yes,
What's
sir.
your
Yes, ma'am.
request?
You can take it down to 0 for me. I mean, we gotta tighten our belts, take it down to 0.
Okay, I'll make a amended motion to take a travel budget down to 0.
Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved by, that was moved by the councilman in the 8th Ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, if you could review the city council budget, and if there's anything else that we can cut, let me know, because we're all on the same boat and we can cut just as well. I'm not going to point a finger and say everybody else needs to cut and we don't need to cut. So if you can review and come back and say the supplies and operating expenses are escalated from year to year, let me know and we will cut those, sir. Thank you. I yield.
Is there any
Madam
other?
Chair.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm definitely supporting cutting this budget to 0 because we know people who have went on these lavish trips and claim they learned something and sitting up making posts tonight. Our council president interim that won't be in August made a post with pictures while she's sitting here. So clearly she didn't learn anything from Michigan Municipal League. So those courses do not benefit her in educating herself how she should have decorum, putting up false
Madam
information,
Chair, point of
gaslighting
order.
this
What's your
community.
point?
So this is an example of speaking to motives. This is an
No, it's not a
example right
motive. You
here.
did it. You did it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I mean, was that speaking to a motive?
That was not speaking to a motive. Go ahead.
Thank you. So
I
I'm
mean, it
not
was.
supporting Michigan Municipal League when she constantly does not have decorum. That's the basic thing. Basic thing. So I'm not, take it down to 0 because clearly she's learning nothing in these classes. When we're in critical budget time, she's making Facebook posts about her colleagues. Facebook posts when we're facing cutting the budget. Facebook posts to gaslight this community.
Madam,
to
uh,
make
Ms.
derogatory
Burns,
statements.
please stay,
She didn't learn. They teach
Miss-
you this. They teach you this in
Ms.
Michigan Municipal
Burns,
League.
please
You gotta
stay
protect her.
germane.
No, I am.
Stay
I'm
germane.
talking about Michigan Municipal League. What you should learn in Michigan Municipal League: decorum, respect, how to work with your colleagues, Robert's Rules of Order, the Open Meetings Act, the Michigan Constitution, the state constitution. But no, things are not being learned because council members are making Facebook posts during budget time. Take it down to 0. They want anybody can travel on your own time. And I'm sorry that any of the residents' money has been wasted. Seriously, Facebook posts to make a petty point? No, we sitting up here trying to gather information, get real answers, and the seriousness of this is a Facebook post for her. Take it down to 0. I yield the floor.
Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And so, as we talk about decorum and et cetera, and let me just start with this. What fool does not want to be trained? The Michigan
Point of order.
What's your point?
Is that a question? What fool? Because that would be her, the fool making the question. She shouldn't be insulting her colleagues. What fool?
Thank you. And so, in whatever job that you take, you want to make sure that you are trained to be the best, whatever you are. People in our water department, all departments, whatever you do, whether you're a banker, whatever you do, you want to make sure that you are attaining professional development to develop your professionalism. Is that fair enough? Okay, so with that being said, even in academia, when I was serving as a professor, what did we do? We went ahead and we went to professional development training so we can be the best professor, be the best colleague that we can be. It's crazy when you hear people that claim to be moving in the best interest of the community holding up the videos. Please feel free to go to Facebook so you too can take a look at them receiving the Stalemate Award Strategist Award. So please, that's exactly what she's showing. But maybe you can tune in to her live streaming our meetings from her page. So when we start talking about what goes on Facebook and what goes on,
What's your
Point of
point?
order.
What's your point?
That is, listen, that page, I received $0. You can stop gaslighting, lying to this community. That is not a page I
That
received.
is- that is
I
an
don't even-
improper
Then
point
you
of
need
order.
to get her because I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
check her.
well, I'm checking
her.
checking me
No, you
is
do
not what the
you do not
sixth
have the
board
floor.
elected
You do
her
not
to
have the
do.
floor.
And so she keeps interrupting me as I speak. I sit back and let her talk and take cheap shots. I do. However, the point is, when someone is raising a point, a factual point, she gets loud. But that's all she knows. So I'll let you do what you're good at. The point is, we need professional development. We all need it, from the Michigan Municipal League, from conferences in Iowa when we're gathering resources for our community. I'm sorry that talking from Tanya don't offer much. But what we do, we go out into the community.
What's your point of information?
Point of order.
What's your point of order?
Actually, it does. It showed those $275,000 that went to your bank account.
That's improper and taking the floor. Go ahead.
It's again, Councilwoman Priestley, I am imploring you. I know you wanted to get this passed. It's not getting passed tonight. You're letting her continue to take the floor, and that violates our council rules. So are we willing to not enforce the rules for the sake of a disorderly person who threatens us to leave every time she can? I don't have to stay here. I'm going to leave. Is this worth it?
Point of order.
What is your point?
Okay, now she's speaking to my motives, and you need to check her online.
I'm not speaking anything.
I
I'm
have
saying
the
what she
floor. You
said.
need to be quiet. You didn't learn it in those.
Excuse me,
You didn't learn them in no courses.
you don't have the floor right now.
Point of order.
What is your point?
I asked for the floor. You didn't allow me to complete it as she sits back. Number one, she can't speak to our motives, 43.21. Also, page 26, you need to get her with decorum. She's supposed to show respect to her colleagues
Dr. Lewis,
and to constituents.
go ahead.
This is sad coming from the chair. I see you letting me go ahead, but you're letting her continue to disrupt. This is not what leadership is supposed to do. Now, if she had a valid point of order or a valid request for information, that'd be fine. But she's interrupting me to take shots, and you're allowing this to happen. But like I was saying for the 55th time, we're talking to someone that was awarded the STEM Hit Award. We're talking to someone that's currently officially streaming our meeting from her channel for
Point of
views
order.
and for reaction.
I am not streaming. You better get her because I'm not streaming.
You're not
That is
streaming the
by
Tanya
someone
Burns
else.
show?
You
You're
do not
streaming
have
right
the floor.
now?
Miss
You
Burns.
need to get her.
Miss Burns, that is your warning.
Don't care. Get her.
Get me for speaking the
Get
truth?
you for lying.
Listen, what's happening here? It's on
Guys,
Facebook. If you
let's
click,
stay-
you will
let's
see
stay germane.
again.
Let's stay germane to the.
No. This is germane because we're talking about training. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about representing our wards to the best of our ability.
Request for
And-
information.
What's your request?
Do she see me streaming over here? I got the budget. I'm not streaming anything. So you need to stop.
Again, so you know what? Do I need to walk over here and show her the Tanya Burns show streaming on Facebook?
That's my name. You just mad nobody likes you.
I'm mad.
You mad nobody like you.
No, I'm not mad. I paid my water bill.
You got $1,800 one with a second account you didn't. And Otis's name at your house.
That is, I'm asking you to be removed from this meeting.
I can
That is your
leave,
second warning.
but you need to warn her. Then your budget won't be passed. She's got a
Miss
nasty attitude.
Councilwoman Priestley, according to our
bullying
city,
you,
our
and you got
disorderly person
scared,
city
you.
code subsection,
You got
just
scared.
like the audience, she can be
order.
remained as well.
Point of
She
order.
can be removed as well.
Point of
What is
order.
your point of order?
I'll be leaving this meeting. This
That
meeting
is
is
an improper
going
point of
nowhere.
order.
I'm telling you, I'm leaving this meeting.
So I guess she has to leave. Her twin is leaving. So I guess we're gonna break quorum.
That
It's
was-
all
that was
right. It's
inappropriate.
fine.
You can't get
It's
the budget
fine.
because you can't
It's
control
fine.
her.
No, whatever. No, I don't need to guess
You
what.
can't control her.
Dr. Lewis.
This is you the problem.
I can't even speak without being interrupted. Can't
You
even
do
speak
not have
without
the
being
floor.
interrupted.
Look, you removed me from the meeting. I'm packing up.
But well, she
I'm
should be
gonna talk
quiet.
about-
Yeah,
Girl,
that's-
She should be leaving
stop
quietly.
accepting them. Listen, you don't care about.
Do you hear this?
budget. You don't care about the.
I don't
budget.
care. You don't even care about being
don't.
better.
Girl,
That-
Dr.
that
Lewis,
wig
Dr.
together.
Lewis.
How about that?
Attend the conference, ma'am.
You didn't learn nothing from going to one.
Go ahead. We still have flooring. Go ahead.
You.
And we may
Look,
continue the discussion.
thank
We
you.
just can't take
So
action.
again, she's continuing to interrupt as she walks out the door. And that is against council rules. She does this stuff to make content. And do you hear this? This is exactly why. 5 recalls and I'm still here. Anyway,
RL.
all right. When we make points about our colleagues, we want to be called a liar and they want to quickly run out of here. I'm fine. And if I have to be the only council person, one of the few that stand on business, and that points out what's happening is not correct, I will do so. Ma'am, would you stop yelling? It's all right. I saved my money to pay my water bill. Tell your girl, it's okay. It's okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'll have all of that. Yes. And if you need me to front you some for your water bill, ma'am, let me know. It's fine. It's fine. Again, Miss Priestley, police, this is what we allow to happen as they're walking out the door. I will continue to speak out when colleagues are not telling the truth, and I will continue to speak out for the people, period. Thank you.
So we still have a quorum, so I'm going, Ms. Bichette, do you have anything to say?
Finish the discussion item, even if they left, because we were in the middle of it.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take my time. I will say that I will not be voting to take our